Hello, I'm Sally from ProAlign and welcome to this chair-based class from our Clinical Pilates series. All you'll need for this session is a chair that's sturdy, not on wheels, and some resistance band. So this can be tubing like I have with handles, or it can be the TheraBand that you may have got from your physiotherapy clinic. You may want a drink at hand as well. The lovely thing about this class is it can be done in the comfort of your own home. So let's get started. We're going to look initially at sitting posture. So when we come and sit on the chair, we want to think about having very wide sit bones and depth within the front of the hip creases. So maybe just readjust yourself, lift up, think of separating and widening your sit bones and sit back down again. We want to feel like we're nicely balanced on top of our sitting bones here. We can feel this alignment with a forwards and back tilt. So maybe just start here with rolling forwards and backwards off your sitting bones. From side on, it will look like this. Rolling forwards and rolling back. So I'll keep on changing my view as we go through the class. And then we want to finish sitting right on top of our sit bones again. We're going to take our awareness now to the upper chest or thorax, and that wants to be stacked right on top of our sitting bones or our pelvis. Often when we think to ourselves, sit up straight, we end up sticking the chest forwards and up. And what we find there is that we get reverse curves in the spine. So we often get a forwards thorax and a backwards lumbar spine. And that's the other way around than how we want it. So maybe just have a little sense of sinking into your breastbone, but lifting up from your tailbone. So that will encourage the in curve in the low back, and then a stack of your breastbone over your pubic bone. When we then want to think about the shoulders, we want to think nice and broad with our collarbones. So again, just watching that we're not squeezing them backwards, that we're thinking of breadth. Maybe coming back to thinking of our shoulder blade cape and just popping our shoulders on top of the rib cage and letting them float there with a sense of air in between the shoulder blades and the rib cage. We then want to go back to think of our visualization of some helium balloons, just lifting the base of the skull up. So checking in once again, we have mid-pelvis, even weight on our sits bones. We have a sense of lifting through the low back, or maybe lifting up from your tail. A sense of heaviness or relaxation through the rib cage, broad shoulders, and length at the back of the neck. This is unsupported sitting in spinal stack. We're going to look now at breathing in this position. So once again, we're going to look at our three-part breath. Starting off with a side-to-side breath into the low rib cage. So breathing in through the nose and out through the nose. Just slowly and in your own speed. What we want to see here is even movement in the rib cage, left and right. So maybe check in and see what's happening in your rib cage. The next movement or direction of breath is going to be forwards and back. So place a hand on your low back and one on your belly. Breathing again. What we want to feel now is expansion in a forwards and back direction with our breath. Our third breath direction is up and down. So we're thinking of breathing from the throat all the way down to the pelvic floor. Having a motion a little bit like a bike pump or a cafetiere plunger. So we're thinking here of breathing up and down. You may even feel like you're gaining some height with your in-breath here, and then maybe losing your height a little bit with your out-breath. So now we have seated spinal stack, and we have our three-part breath. And this might be enough for you today, or this might be all that you want to be implementing into your day if you're at home working at a desk or office bound at a desk. We're going to be looking at some spinal mobility now in the chair. So we're going to start with some tucks and tilts of the pelvis. So first of all, slowly rolling back off our sitting bones, coming back into center, and then we're going to tilt forwards again. Tilting back, coming to middle, and tilting forwards. And just notice what happens to your low back or your lumbar spine as you do this. So as you come forwards, your lumbar spine should arch a little bit, and as you tuck under, it flexes a little bit. Remember, none of this should be causing pain. We just want nice fluid movement. I'm going to get you to then take your awareness into what the rib cage is doing. So as we tilt back, we want to sink into the rib cage a little bit, and as we lift up and come forwards, the rib cage will lift. So from side on, we're sinking, the rib cage drops, we come up, the rib cage extends. Now this is our pelvis and rib cage talking to each other in a fluid manner, which is what we want with our spinal movement. You can have your hand on your chest, or you might just rest your hands on your lap. Try and keep your eyes on the horizon for this exercise, and then you'll get some neck mobility as well. So my neck is lengthening and my neck is shortening. The next mobility exercise we're going to look at is for the thorax. With the pelvis fixed in a seated position, it isolates rotation into the thorax a little bit more. So we're going to start with some forward reaches. So this is in a bow and arrow motion in the arms. One arm reaches forwards and the elbow of the other arm reaches back. Try and again get a nice rhythmic motion happening. And I want you to think of leading from the shoulder blades. So we're really getting this extended reach happening. We can then reach to the sides. So you're going to reach away from you. Keep your sits bones even on the chair and feel an opening and loading into the side waist as you reach away. This is a lovely exercise to activate your core muscles because they love to be stretched sideways and in a twisting motion. Our final one is we're going to reach backwards in the chair. So we're reaching back on a diagonal, and here we're feeling an opening running from one shoulder all the way through to the opposite hip. So really unsticking our thoracic spine or rib cage. We can do the same mobilizer drill reaching up high as well. So we can reach up high to the ceiling. With this variation, we have a really nice opening down through the side waist. We're then going to reach to the sides again. So up high, again, keep your weight even on the chair. Make sure your bottom's not lifting. We're then going to reach in a diagonal pattern forwards. And we're then going to reach backwards on the chair, up and high. And then we'll come back and just have a check-in with your body again. So already you should feel a lot lighter and more loose. Coming now into forwards and backwards spinal motion with our seated forward roll down. The standing version of this is commonly used in our Pilates classes. We're thinking of segmental motion through the spine here. So I want you to start thinking of flexing or bending from the top of the neck. Then we're going to peel into the middle neck and then the low neck. And then just come up again. You might want to think of pressing your chin down on a sponge ball or a large ripe mango or something like that. We're then going to let this movement come into our thorax, which is our rib cage area. So we're bending here, coming back up again. Keep this motion slow and controlled, and visualize each one of your little spinal segments moving one upon the other as you curl down. If you want to and you feel safe, you can widen your legs a little bit and curl all the way down through your neck, thorax, and hang down between your legs. Maybe have a little bounce here in this position and then stack back up again. We're going to scoot back up again using the navel. So from side on, we sit up, curl down through the neck, thorax, into the low back, hanging down, maybe a little bounce,
and then curling back up again.
Into a high sitting position. Once more, high neck, mid leg,
Low, high thorax, mid-low, and down into your low back.
Allow the pull and heaviness of gravity in this position,
And then slowly peel back up again.
Staying with mobility, I think this is our last exercise, and this is to mobilize the shoulder blades. We're going to take our arms out to the side, and we're going to roll one arm over and allow the shoulder blade to follow, and then come back again. Other side, roll the arm and allow the shoulder blade to follow. So with this exercise, we're going to lead from the hand, and then it causes the arm to rotate in, and the shoulder blade comes all the way up and over. So we want a mobile shoulder blade here. You can see here that my thorax or rib cage follows this motion as well, and it feels really nice in the back of the rib cage to be moving like this. So these are your arm spirals.